Hello everyone, this is the Pennsylvania Florida Eastern back again. Today we're doing another DCC install video. This is a Broadway Limited K4 Streamlined. This is the Paragon 3 by Broadway Limited Imports. This is a really nice model. I got the bronze paint screen with the keystone, winged keystone on the nose. So this is them pretty much apart. I separated the tender from the locomotive. The connection system is really similar to the other K4 models that go all the way back since the Paragon 1. So it's really just the shells, as far as I can tell, that are the main difference. For the locomotive and tender, they're both unique. Mainly so the tender is more unique than the locomotive's chassis. So that's all I got to note about that. I don't have as many photos as I was doing this build as my previous how-to videos of how I did this. So I'm going to explain as much as I can through each scene with the limited time I'm trying to give myself instead of just rambling on. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the build here. It's going to be a lot of fun. Alrighty, now that we're looking at the underside, this is similar to the M1. There's two screws under, I think actually in between, but I think near, if you see towards the booster at the rear of the truck, there is a screw there in between that, L-shaped, corner piece at the very end of the trailing truck. There's a screw on each side for the rear, and there's a third screw. If you see at the pilot truck, there's a hole there. Underneath there is a third screw, so that all three screws will be, in order to take the shell off, you'll have to unscrew those three screws in order to take the locomotive's shell off, and you'll be able to see on the inside. Other than that, it's very simple. There's nothing really challenging underside here, so in the next scene, we'll look at the underside of the tender. Alright, so this is the more unique part of this model. This tender is definitely unique. I don't believe this chassis is used by any other model by Broadway, so this is a completely, brand new tooling tender here. As you can see, there's speaker holes right there. And the screws, if you can barely see, there's some grooves where the screws would be near to each corner of the tender shell. There's 4 screws that you have to unscrew in order to access the bottom side. Well, really the inside of the tender. And you can see there's some pickups here. And, when I got this locomotive used by the refurb store, some of the copper wipers were just not contacting with the axle. So I thought that was really strange. I don't know, that's just what I found. But yeah, we'll go look inside the locomotive next. Alrighty, so I have the shell taken off, and I have unplugged a bunch of, well, really just one JST plug, and this is different. This is different than the other Broadway locomotives. As you can see, the board is not at the rear of the locomotive as the other Broadway locomotives are. I'm not sure if any other Broadway is different than like this one, but this one's unique in that you can't really see well where the JST plug pins go to. So I had to unscrew the left track screw that's holding that board down, because it's basically the JST like tether is double-ended as a male plug. So it is different. That brown wire that's going over the motor is for the sensor. The gray wire is for right rail, and the black wire is for ground. So that will be for the headlight. So everything's pretty much standardized here, which is good. I don't really have to unplug that other plug. And there's a third JST plug for the motor, for motor plus, motor minus. I didn't have to mess with that, so that's all that is. So now we'll work on the next part. Okay, so I've actually had some more stuff moved around. As you can see, I unsoldered gray wire. Now, that gray wire is going to be used for all the lighting functions for the 3-volt input. So it's going to be used for the cab light that's in the K4 Streamlined, the marker lights at the front, and the headlight itself. As you can see, there's the headlight at the bottom right down there, and I have some black tape there. Now, I'll probably have to remove that at some point because I've had some issues after running this train, after this video actually. So there's a whole story behind that I'll do at a later date. But other than that, you'll see that there's a ground wire already soldered to the headlight that goes to the GND wire. And that GND wire is going to go for function 0, which is I believe the white wire for the headlight. So for the front headlight, to be exact. And as you can see, I also got some more heat shrinking tubes so that the wires are, I think those are positive wires for the marker lights. And I also got, I believe, the negative for the marker lights as well. So that's probably going to go to the one that the sensor ones, sensor pins. And then the next section, we're going to look at the tender. Alrighty, so now we're looking at the tender. As you can see, you can pause the video and, figure out which one goes to which. For every Broadway engine, it's from right pin to left pin. The right pin is right rail, motor minus. You can zoom in if you want, and you could probably see where exactly each wire goes to. Motor minus goes to is the second pin from the right. Third pin is 3.3 volts plus. And then the fourth pin, if I'm not mistaken, is the sensor wire. And then the fifth pin is GND or ground. Sixth is the other sensor wire that could be used for, either marker lights, or you can use it from the front or for the cab light. Doesn't matter. Seventh pin is obviously motor plus, and then the final pin, the eighth pin at the very bottom is left rail pickup. So pretty intuitive. Nothing pretty much changed in this model, which is good. And yeah, and again, when it comes to Broadways, the K4 in my opinion is going to be the more challenging one to do compared to the other locomotives, since it's very, very simple. According to the last 3 videos I had done, once you open up the locomotive, you actually see where exactly those JST pins are going to go to. But on the K4, it's different. It's not normal, so it's a little bit unorthodox. You're going to have to take this one a little bit longer. And then the next part, we're going to see both engine and tender open. Alrighty, so now I have them back connected together again. As you can see, between the tender and the locomotive's chassis, there's a pink and brown wire, yes. So those are leftover wires I got from another project. And I use those wires, as you can see, they go through under the locomotive's cab, where it would be on the chassis, and go through this whole area. And there's a pink and brown wire connecting to a yellow LED. Now, that LED is not originally there. I added that to be a firebox flicker. Now, the firebox flicker is not the most perfect thing in the world because, unfortunately, you don't see it leak through under the sides of the skirting. You do see it leak through the hole in the back, and it does flicker, and there's little port holes. They're super small. If you see those, screw stocks for its shell, you'll see there's a tiny hole right on one side, pretty much away from, the furthest away from, this photo in terms of depth. There's a hole on each side where you can actually see a flicker when I put the shell back on. So I'm not sure if that was intentional to have a hole there, but I'm guessing in real life they would have a hole so you can actually see, something's going on. I don't know. It's strange, but it adds, for show that, there's a firebox flicker going on. And yeah, all that wire mess right there is everything put together. I have everything wired up. You can also pause and take a look at where each color wire is going through and where is it connected to. Now that TCS decoder, it's strapped down to that metal plate right there. That decoder got fried. I'll explain later on about why that happened, not in this video. Alright, so here's with both the tender and locomotive shell back on, and as you can see that extra pink and brown wire there for the headlight. Now, technically I pretty much made this now permanently connected unless I take both shells off. There's only really at max 8 pins for Broadway locomotive, so it is what it is. And that, ladies and gentlemen, pretty much concludes this build. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. At some point, I'll talk about that fried decoder issue. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye now.